Part 39. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 384. Chapter 384 is no longer coming. Enough. This is what you forced me. The white-robe young man had heard Wei Suo saying I can't kill you and me, and I was already so angry that I was vomiting blood. Now I heard that Wei Suo said that he and the white unicorn had a leg, and he was so angry that he was going crazy. Look like that. Vertex novels, handwriting novels. A surging sound crazy like great treasure called surging sound. I saw the kaka in the naked body of this white-robe young man, as if a crystal stone suddenly broke. Immediately, a stalk with an ancient and devastating pang great treasure blood chi emerged from the robes of the white-robe young man. Numerous water spirit Yuan chi, who was shocked by the white-robe young man, also turned red. Hey! 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 The skeleton of the young man in the white robe is squeaking, and the blood on the skin is bulging. It is very sultry, and the naked body is immediately inflated. Originally he was about the same height as Wei Suo, but between this moment he has become 2 heads higher than Wei Suo. An astonishing power and a fierce flame of the sky also spread from his body, just as he suddenly became an ancient ferocious beast. Old man, what is going on? Remember what you want to call, and tell me what is going on and call again. When I saw such a lust scene, Wei Suo, who was using the golden core, was a bit stunned. Originally, green-robed old man was already called at this time. When Wei Suo was called, the scream of green-robed old man became more content. Fiend blood switch technique. Wei Suo, this is a heaven gate of the magic gate, which is a high-level monster beast that smashes the monster beast's essence, soul and chi and blood into a bloody scorpion. Inside. When you are against the enemy, you can turn this bloody away at once. You can replace your chi and blood, just like turning into a monster beast, not only true Yuan, but even the powerful energy of golden core. It will be great. Treasure added. However, after the implementation of shapeshift great art, even if the power of the great treasure increases, after killing the other party, he will become a monster of half human and half beast. No half man and half beast? Then I will call you an orc, or a beast. I said this, brother, I just talked with you, do you need to work so hard? Wei Suo immediately yelled at the white-robe young man. Do you think that I will become a half-human beast? The face of the young man of white became extremely ferocious, hard-featured dame appearance, the outgoing surging sound, also like a ferocious beast in the roaring general. I repaired the work shapeshift great art water, the true tactic. True water keeps wash the flesh, can expel all hostility. This kind of technique shapeshift great art, other people use, I use up, is naked body to be subjected to some damage, most rest for a few months, can restore as ever. This blood phoenix is bloody, I have to come hard, I will let you know what is called life is not dead. Hey! In the roaring surging sound, the golden core of the white-robe young man also trembled fiercely. A stock of great ancient treasures of the ancient treasures, from the white-robe young man, poured into his among the golden cores. Immediately, his golden core also swelled quickly. Wei Suo, this guy seems to have taken a lot of things, he is more than just 3 sovereign secta sex shapeshift great art. No. Wei Suo, who had already won the game, couldn't help but swallow. I saw only a moment of time, the light blue golden core of the white-robe young man, doubled, and even more than his purple golden core, and a great treasure. Hong. Wei Suo hasn't had time to think about shapeshift great art. After the white-robe young man became great treasure, the golden core has already slammed into his golden core. Under the heaven shaking, the countless squats of the young man in the white robe, just issued a surging sound of the surging sound, as if there were countless nostrils changed. His golden core also only shook a bit. However, Wei Suo's golden core was thrown out of the air, Wei Suo's naked body, but also by electric shock, trembled. Hong. Without the slightest stop, the golden core of the white-robe young man once again squatted on Wei Suo's golden core. I am a little elegant to you, the great treasure family stopped, how about a cup of tea? This time, Wei Suo's nostrils were also shaken out of two blood. Yaxing? You have yaxing now, but I have nothing to do with you. You are not relying on golden core powerful energy, so arrogant? Now let's see who the golden core is. The white robe was full of faces, and there was no pause at all. Golden core hit the Wei Suo's golden core again. Pu. I saw a burst of fire on Wei Suo's golden core. Many of the light characters were broken, and Wei Suo also spewed a blood. This guy actually has so many powerful shapeshift great art, so difficult, no wonder a pair of nostrils to see people, do not put people in the eyes. If this continues, then a few more times I will be alive and shocked. When a blood spurted out, Wei Suo's eyes flashed and he immediately made up his mind. Nice. This is what you forced me. I am with you. Wei Suo also immediately called a surging sound with great treasure, and at the same time reached out and shouted, look at me, from explode, Metalden. Self-destruct golden core? When I heard Wei Suo's such a surging sound great treasure, the white robe young man couldn't help but have a meal. Wei Suo's current golden core powerful energy, he is very clear, so if the golden core of the great treasure is self-destructive, his current golden core will also suffer from the extreme great treasure. Maybe the golden core is not broken directly. You lied to me. But just under this, let the god of the secret place white robe scream out the surging sound, only to see Wei Suo screaming to blue the golden core, but the golden core receive, directly on the controls Ruyi exquisite pagoda, turn and run. Do you think you can run off? The golden core of the white robe young man, violently spinning up, rippling a lot of transparent rays of light, once again squatting toward Wei Suo's. Annihilation golden core. Kill you. Wei Suo reached out and bumped into a silver light, slamming into the golden core of the white robe young man. Cheat me again. When the young man in white robe heard the words of annihilation golden core, his eyes flashed a look of horror, but he saw that the silver light was just a small bead, and the breath above it was not at all. Annihilation golden core's breath. This time, he suddenly screamed, and golden core continued to push Wei Suo without hesitation. Master, don't. At this time, the white unicorn, which had been hiding in the white seal, suddenly found something like it, and screamed in horror. But just as its surging sound sounded, the silver beads that Wei Suo shot had already collided with the golden core of the white robe young man. Hong! In the eyes of the young man in white robe, he suddenly filled with a stunned look. I saw the silver beads and the glow of the surface of his golden core, and immediately burst into a silvery white brilliance of great treasure. Ka! Under the silver white magnificent light flashes, it disappeared immediately. But the golden core of the white robe young man seems to have been struck by an unimaginable giant treasure hammer, not only the whole body of the sun, but all of them are blown up, even the many runes on the surface of the golden core are broken. Cracked open. The young man in white robe was shaken and swayed like a slap, and two nosebleeds flowed out again. Okay, come again. Wei Suo did not move the surging sound. At the same time, his purple golden core, also took this time, once again squatting on the golden core of the white robe young man. Ka! The golden core of the young white robe is almost unbearable. It was hit by Wei Suo and there were many faint cracks on the surface. Would you like to change your own golden core, or you simply use the Three Emperors Great Extinction technique to blow up your Kylin King water seal? Your Kylin King water seal is not the shapeshift great art great treasure of mystic rank. With the Three Emperors Great Extinction technique, I can't resist it. Wei Suo once again controlled the golden core, and the slamming impact on the golden core of the white robe young man, made such a surging sound. Pu. This time, the young white robe was hit hard, and it was anger, and a blood spurted out of the mouth. At the moment, this lust shape, not to mention Kylan King Water Seal, is extremely important to him. It is impossible to use it. Even if he wants to blue himself, under the continuous impact of Weisuo, he has no chance to display 3. Emperor's Great Extinction Technique. At this moment, if you don't drive the golden core, his golden core will soon be smashed by Weisuo. Wind Emperor Spirit Burning Thorn. At the same time, the young man in white robe spurted out his blood, and his eyes filled with a very sinister look. Immediately, his face was distorted, as if the inside of his head had burned. A surging sound, a transparent ripple, suddenly spread across Weisuo's head. Weisuo, this is the Divine Consciousness Impact Class Shapeshift Great Art. This kind of Shapeshift Great Art is to damage your Divine Consciousness. Green-robed old man's surging sound rang in Weisuo's ear. At the same time as the Dao Technique Shapeshift Great Art, the white-robed young man with a painful look is immediately ready to fight back. But what made him unbelievable, great treasure, was that Weisuo was not affected at all, and he looked at him and said, "What do you say is this shapeshift great art? I didn't feel it. Would you like to stop feeling it?" Improbable, no way. Your divine consciousness is stronger and you can't be 4 or 5 times stronger than me. How can you resist this Dao Technique Shapeshift Great Art? Your body, what can resist the different great treasure of divine consciousness pressure? The white-robed young man, the eyes finally appeared completely thrilled and desperate. The great treasure is difficult to look at, the screaming surging sound, the whole body naked body flies backwards. You don't have to worry about this. Why, I am so elegant, do you still have to go? Weisuo looked at the white-robed young man without a look of lust, and the golden core once again slammed into the golden core of the white-robed young man. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 385. Chapter 385 Half-Water Spirit Root, Third More. The impact of this squatting, Weisuo himself was a huge earthquake, and many of the runes on the surface of his golden core were also broken. The vertex novels hit the novel, and the god's secret place. The golden core of the young white robe was knocked out and flew out. At the same time, it cracked, and among the cracks on the surface, there was a brilliance of the brilliance, origin chi. At the same time, the white robe young man is also a surging sound, a pig-like scream, the countless niches on his body, and the water spirit Yuan Chi rushing, and unlike before, this time, the walking of origin chi in his naked body. It seems that these niches are not venting, no matter how they vent. These water spirit Yuan Chi kept rushing out, making the niches in his naked body constantly expanded by the giant treasure, expanding the great treasure into a wound, seeming to smash his naked body into pieces. Look like that. Weisuo, take a quick retreat. His golden core has been smashed by you. Green-robed old man, a surging sound excited great treasure called. Oh! That is to hide. With a flash of purple light, Weisuo took the golden core and quickly retreated. At the same time, looking at the bracelet in the hands of the young man in white robe, looking at the way. The lust shape at the moment, no matter which cultivator is seen on the spot, can be sure, then it must be Weisuo to collect the body. Obviously, even if the white robe young man can really control the disordered origin chi in the naked body, he will be blown away by the explosive power of his own golden core crash. Water Emperor protects the great treasure. But at this time, a group of transparent brilliance was automatically sprayed from the mouth of the young white robe. This group of transparent brilliance is a square talisman. This talisman seems to be the purest water condensed, emitting a stream of pure and thick water spirit chi, then a small white print. Inside this talisman, countless transparent brilliance flashes, very deep, like a lot of runes swimming. Hong. This talisman squirted from the mouth of the young man in the secret place white robe, and immediately disintegrated into a layer of transparent water spirit Yuan Chi. What is this again? Seeing this lust scene, Weisuo's face turned white, like a frightened rabbit, running faster later. Because he felt that this layer of water spirit Yuan Qi seems to be more terrifying than his golden core powerful energy. But this layer of transparent water spirit Yuan Qi did not rush toward him, but layer by layer to the golden core that was flying backwards and was about to collapse. Nah. What makes Wei Suo stunned is that this layer of transparent water spirit Yuan Qi rushed up and burst into a sword-like pure water spirit Yuan Qi, but under the scouring of layers, the golden core of the white-robed young man was suppressed by the hard-working, and saved. On the contrary, the naked body of the young man in white robe seems to be unable to withstand the powerful energy of talisman. The surging sound of the bomb is smashed. This is called protect your eggs. This egg has been saved, but no one is there. What is the use? Wei Suo, I swear I will kill you and make you die, but at this time, a stern surging sound sounded out, and at the same time, an essence soul, which seemed to be condensed by transparent water, broke into the golden core. Immediately, the white seal also issued the white unicorn horror burning with the screaming surging sound, a surging sound, a white water spirit chi will be the white robe young golden core and white robe young after the person smashed, the fallen silver bracelet was rolled inside, like a white wave, rushing into the sea below. Idiot How can I kill me if I kill me? Wei Suo continued to sacrifice the golden core without hesitation, rushing toward the white waves that escaped into the sea. But let his face immediately show a depressed look. After the white wave entered the water, the speed of fleeing in the sea was so unimaginable, just like a great treasure fish, shaking 2 times. In a flash, I lost sight of it. Green-robed old man also called it extremely depressed. That is Ancient's high-level storage bracelet. This guy got the inheritance of 3 sovereign section. There are definitely countless good things in it, and his body is crashing. This actually made him escape. In order to deal with this young man in the secret place who didn't know where to pop out, Wei Suo used a powerful energy stored in the extinct golden core, a core-breaking bead and the bloodshift shapeshift great art knife. And the obtained Yeling's golden core, still did not have time to refine the annihilation golden core. If it has been refining, then in the previous situation, it is estimated that Wei Suo is also used directly. 7 or 8 Xuanhuan, falling from the sky, Wei Suo mystic fiend ghost claw grabbed the 7 or 8 Xuanhuan in their hands. This is the name of the white dress young man has taken out more than 30 shapeshift great art great treasure, but it did not have time to take away, just the golden core continuous hard hit, plus the young man finally flesh, but only these 7 or 8 good shapeshift great art great treasure. Among the 7 or 8 shapeshift great art great treasures, the highest grade is only the shapeshift great art great treasure of Dao rank. For Wei Suo, it is better than nothing. At this time, Wei Suo was in the air above the sea, and suddenly there was no sign of the majestic great treasure rain. The raindrops are full of lychee-like great treasure. And this drop of raindrops is extremely pure, looks like a transparent crystal stone, exudes a full-bodied water spirit chi. Seeing such a weird scene, after staying for a while, green-robed old man suddenly called like a dream, fast. Wei Suo, collect these water spirit Yuan Qi. Collect these things. Although Wei Suo still has a bit of a confused situation, he heard that green-robed old man's surging sound is very urgent. He is also very responsive, and the 7 or 8 shapeshift great art great treasures that will catch the hand are included. In the treasure receiving pocket, then the whole person flew in the air in the 4 secret places, hands purple UN mad, and kept rolling down the raindrops. It was only a moment, this weird great treasure rain stopped. Wei Suo's true UN, however, is wrapped in 2 giant great treasure transparent water masses over 1 foot in diameter. I saw that under the Wei Suo's true UN extrusion, the 2 transparent water masses were pressed into 2 giant egg-like great treasures. Old man, what is the use of secret place for this thing, what should I do now? Wei Suo felt it, and now it seems that as soon as his true Yuan is released, the two water masses will immediately turn into a group of origin Qi, dissipating in the air. The Water Emperor is the cultivator of the divine mystic realm's second layer, just to refine it. It is entirely made of true Yuan and water spirit Yuan Qi condense. Divine mystic realm's cultivator can condense water spirit Yuan Qi to an unimaginable level. These raindrops are because of the great treasure of the genius. In this area, the water spirit Yuan Qi is too thick, and it is absorbed together, naturally forming raindrops. These raindrops, you are now directly refining. There should be a great secret place for great treasure. I have heard that, 3 sovereign sect disciple, if anyone gets such a great treasure, according to the shapeshift great art, in the naked body, even if it is a normal naked body quality, there is no cultivator of the spiritual roots, it will be immediately form a water spirit root out. Direct refining. Wei Suo's heart was moved, and no nonsense, directly wrapped in true Yuan, swallowed the 2 transparent water masses. Hong. 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 These 2 transparent water clusters, Wei Suo only felt that the stomach seemed to swallow 2 great treasure seas at once, a share of heaven shaking water like water spirit Yuan Qi, bursting in his naked the body scoured and rushed to the tiniest corner of his naked body. This feeling is extremely wonderful, as if the entire body of the naked body is soaked in endless, extremely pure water. All the meridians, the internal organs, and the internal organs were all inexplicably moisturized. Wei Suo even felt that some of the subtle injuries in the naked body were in the process of violent fight between shape and great white. Healed up. It seemed to be full of shocks. After tens of thousands of times, the 2 groups of great treasure sea in the naked body finally disappeared into the Wei Suo's naked body. And I saw Wei Suo's eyes flashing with a flash of light, flowing with true Yuan in his naked body. 3 strange splendid light, condensed from his body. These 3 splendid lights, one is white, one is red, and one is blue, all in the shape of roots. Only the white and red splendid light is a complete one, while the blue one is faint, and only the great treasure half. These 3 splendid light are obviously the splendid light of the spiritual roots. Half water spirit root. Wei Suo, the water spirit Yuan Qi of the Water Emperor, has made you a half water spirit root. This Water Emperor protects the great treasure character, and it really deserves its name. Upon seeing these 3 lights, green-robed old man immediately called out surging sound. Wei Suo was also a very pleasant surprise. He suddenly killed a young man in a secret place, and forced himself to use a lot of things at the bottom of the box. Even the core-breaking bead that had just arrived was used, but so the formation of a half-water spirit root, this business is not too bad. Let's see how the king's treasurer will say it. Saw him Zhang opened mouth, seems to ask more 3 sovereign sect things, because in the fierce Do shapeshift great art, green-robed old man was scared to call also just and he said some of the others surgery shapeshift great art, there is no time to say anything else, but a little hesitation after a while, Wei Suo but still figure a move, first toward the small island soft fell on the king of the shopkeeper swept the past. N. As soon as he fell in front of the king's treasurer, Wei Suo saw a few flashes in the palm of the king's treasurer, and there was a faint flash of cyan light. Only reveals a small cut in the tail. This is the unique fixing Yuan needle from Azure Yuan section. It is a shapeshift great art great treasure dedicated to true Yuan in the restrictions cultivator naked body. This guy seems to have touched a lot of places and has gotten a lot of good secret places. Green-robed old man looked at it carefully and immediately saw the origins of these fine needles, a look of depression. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 386. Chapter 386 3 Sovereign Sect. Shapeshift great art great treasure dedicated to true Yuan in the restrictions cultivator naked body, what is rank? This kind of fixing Yuan needle's own rank is not high, only the powerful energy of the spirit level high level, generally only used in the lust condition that can hold the opponent. The apex novel is a novel, green-robed old man explains. It's just that the fixing Yuan needle is also the shapeshift great art great treasure of the teleport class. It can also be used for unexpected attacks. How about this fixing Yuan needle? Wei Suo nodded and asked. It's not difficult to take it out, just pay attention to true Yuan and you can take it back. After hearing green-robed old man say this, Wei Suo tried to inspire a true Yuan and focused on one of Cyan's fine needles. Sure enough, under the flash of blue light, this root seems to be connected to the naked body of the king's treasurer as a naked body's cyan fine needle, which automatically floated out and was photographed by him. I saw the cyan fine needle 3 inches long, light and nothing, but the needle is thinner than the head hair, but it is also engraved with a thin layer of mysterious rune. This shapeshift great art great treasure, Azure Yuan sect itself is not much refining, and my last generation master fell, I was trapped in the ghost raising jar. Azure Yuan sect is still there, then I have seen some of the books that you have taken, and I have not seen the record of how the Qing Yuan zone fell. This guy has fixing Yuan needle, maybe it's all about ruins who went to King Yuanzong. There is also the fiend blood switch technique, which is also the cannot be passed on secret of the devil's blood. It is impossible to spread it outside, and it is definitely only possible in the mountain gate of the demon blood. Green-robed old man went on to say. Wei Suo's brow wrinkled, but his hands and feet were not stopped, and the roots of the fixing Yuan needle on the king's treasurer were all taken out. This fixing Yuan needle has a total of 6. When it comes to excitement, it is a set of shapeshift great art. It has to be put into the naked body of the cultivator. It only works when you take it out. Root removal. After the 6 fixing Yuan needles were included in the treasure receiving pocket, I saw Wei Suo's face, but there were some suspicious looks. Subsequently, his eyes flickered for a moment. It seems to use divine consciousness to carefully scan the body of the king's treasurer twice. Then, a purple true Yuan rushed out of his hand and hit the back of the head of the king's treasurer. A surging sound sounded softly, and I saw a transparent water spirit Yuan Qi, which was broken up and rushed out from the position of the back of the head of the king. Immediately, the king's treasurer issued a surging sound, and woke up. Elder Wei. As soon as he opened his eyes and saw Wei Suo standing in front of him, Wang's treasurer suddenly climbed up from the ground and looked at him with horror. It was obvious that he was looking around with the white-robed young man. The king treasurer, I am sorry, I have always concealed my identity. Wei Suo looked at the king's shopkeeper and nodded. We said that we are acquaintances, and you have helped me a lot of great treasures. You are not welcome, we are still the same as before. I can do it for fellow deist. Wang shopkeeper somehow also saw some great treasure scene of the characters, see Wei Suo a pair of indifferent appearance, and see around there has been no trace of the young man, also have guessed great treasure, in the eyes of a startled look, he also slightly calmed down, wry smile Wei, in the next really did not think fellow deist unexpectedly is see immortal sect great treasure named Ding Ding genius cultivator. If there is no gold Dao pill that the treasurer helped me find, I can't succeed in core formation so quickly. Wei Suo looked at the king's shopkeeper, the only young cultivator in the white robe, the king treasurer, do you know his origins? This cultivator bought a few things at Wang family. The tower is very great treasure. He claimed to be Lin Fenghua. He listened to his tone. It doesn't seem like Cloud Spirit Continent's cultivator, but what is a naked body? I don't know the origins. I only saw that his cultivation base must not be weak, but he did not see that he was a golden core stage great treasure cultivator. When he was in front of me, he said that he wanted to snatch the white pieces that fellow deist Wei had taken last time. When the king's treasurer thought of himself or herself, he was restrained by the white-robed young man, and he looked at Wei Suo with a lingering heart. Is this cultivator already killed by fellow deist Wei? The shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art of this cultivation are extremely amazing. Although they lost in my hands, they escaped. Wei Suo shook his head. I have been involved in the king's treasurer for this matter. It is really a bit unintentional. Fellow Daoist Wei, is too much to say this. If fellow Daoist Wei doesn't see me as a friend, I won't come here if I hear you, the king's shopkeeper said quickly. In this case, this thing is given to the king's treasurer to defend himself. Wei Suo reached out and said that he had used the black and red small flag that he had used before him to the front of the treasurer. This black and red small flag is the Dao rank defense against the shapeshift great art great treasure Chi Earth Fire flag that he got in the treasure receiving pocket from Reverend Fire Cloud. This level of shapeshift great art great treasure is also extremely rare for the Think Division realm cultivator. I have to search the cultivator for the week, so I won't go back to see Immortal City with the king. After the shapeshift great art great treasure was placed in front of the king's treasurer, Wei Suo looked at the king's treasurer and said something like this. Okay, then don't delay fellow Daoist Wei. After the king's treasurer said the surging sound, he immediately put away the Chi Earth Fire flag and left the island with surprise. Although he was thrilled this time, he almost lost his life. But Wei Suo gave him this Chi Earth Fire flag, but the meaning of the representative is much greater than the significance of this shapeshift great art great treasure. Obviously, after this, he and Wei Suo's intercourse lust had another point. The divine ability of the former white robe young man, he is very clear, he is the cultivation base of the Thought Division realm 4th layer, and as the treasurer of the Wang family business, his family is compared to the general Thought Division realm 4th layer. The cultivator needs to be much better, but in the face of the white robe young people, they can't escape. Even if they escape, and they will be restrained by one or two faces. Divine ability, who can be a young man in white robe, is still defeated by Wei Suo's divine ability. Old man, 3 sovereigns sect, what kind of sect? After seeing the escape light of the king's treasurer disappearing into sight, Wei Suo did not search for the white robe young man's trace as he said, slowly rising up and slowly moving towards Sea Immortal City. Grabbing, it is obvious that he knows that it is impossible to find out the traces of the young white robe in the sea area. Let the king treasurer leave, just to facilitate his talk with green-robed old man's intercourse. 3 sovereigns sect, is a great treasure about 30,000 years ago. Lonely Cold Continents number 1 section green-robed old man's surging sound sounded. The 3 sovereign sect was created by 3 divine mystic realms: great treasure cultivator, water emperor, wind emperor, and extinguishing god sovereign. The 3 great treasure cultivators have their own strengths. The highest cultivation base and divine ability are water emperor, which specializes in water attribute gong shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art. Shapeshift great art, which was made by the young man in white robes, should be water emperor's shapeshift great art. His use of shapeshift great art, water emperor, is also the water emperor's shapeshift great art, 3 emperors great extinction. Technique is the shapeshift great art of extinguishing god sovereign. Lonely Cold Continents number 1 sect. Old man, you are not basically in heavenly profound continent, even this cloud spirit continent is not very familiar. How do you know about this sect? Wei Suo's brow wrinkled and asked. That's because the 3 sovereign sect power was too great, and even invaded the cloud spirit continent. Later cloud spirit continent and some continent of Lonely Cold sect teamed up to hit 3 sovereigns sect. 3 sovereigns, many high level cultivator, are in that war fell. Finally even 3 sovereigns sect their own gate cannot hold. The last batch of 3 sovereigns the sect cultivator, also do not know how to escape secret PLAs, established Dongfu, later flourished 3 sovereigns sect, also do not know the trace. Green-robed old man smiled a bit. I have lived for such a long time. In the cultivation world, I can invade the rest of the great treasure land and grab the resources of sect, but there are not many. At the time, heavenly profound continent, there were also many cultivators invited by Cloud Spirit Continent sect, to deal with 3 sovereigns sect, invading Cloud Spirit Continent from 3 sovereigns sect, and finally 3 sovereign sect was not guaranteed, it was a battle. For 9 years, the fallen Golden Core Realm cultivator didn't know how much, so I was so clear about this 3 sovereign section. After the meal, green-robed old man went on to say, this guy is the 3 sovereign sect's most powerful Water Emperor Gong Shapeshift Great Art, and the 3 sovereign sect 3 masters of the Shapeshift Great Art, and Kylan the Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure of King Shapeshift Great Art is clearly inherited from the complete system of 3 sovereigns sect, the sect master of equivalent to 3 sovereigns section. If he didn't look down on you, this time we might not escape. When I heard green-robed old man say, Wei Suo seemed to remember what it was like, and took out a light cyan bead from the chest. This light cyan bead is the strange one from Dong King II, without any rune, but it can dissolve the divine consciousness impact and divine consciousness pressure beads. When I went to Yin Corpse sect, Wei Suo took the bead to the body, otherwise blood spirit old ancestors divine consciousness pressure, he could not withstand shapeshift great art. If it weren't for this bead, then the second Emperor Spirit Burning Thorns divine consciousness impact shapeshift great art, which the young white robe young man would play, might not be able to withstand it. When you think about it, the name of the white cultivator, the shapeshift great art, is the real heaven level great art, and the heaven level great art, which is the heaven level, is not known. It is really fortunate to be able to defeat his body. Wei Suo, but unfortunately this time he was not able to kill him completely and get the good things from him. Green-robed old man's surging sound sounded at this time, and it seems to be well thought out. In the future, you must set up shapeshift great art to find out where this person is. This person has spent many years of hard work despite the body possession. But there is Kylan King artifact spirit in the Kylan King water seal. The level of contact is higher than mine, and I don't know less than me. Keeping such a person is the hidden danger of the most great treasure. Wei Suo clicked on it and no longer said anything. After once again offering Chi fire boat, he flew past Sea Immortal City. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 387. Chapter 387 Can't Eat. A secret place on the Extinction Sea, a gray-haired old man and a young man wearing a cyan attire, are carrying a light cyan boat and sailing on the sea. Vertex novels, handwriting novels. The boat with a length of more than a foot is wood, engraved with some seaweed-like rune, with a hint of blue light, but spiritual chi is not strong, it is obviously a shapeshift great art that spirit rank has not reached. On the deck of the boat, there are several eagle-shaped low-grade monster beast nectar naked bodies, and some stones that are salvaged from the sea, like ore. It seems that this gray-haired old man and a young man with a look of honesty are not even a low-grade cultivator with the treasure-receiving pocket. Suddenly, the 2 low-grade cultivators stopped, and I saw the gray coat with a black long whip shapeshift great art, rolled into a small volume in the water below, and rolled out a small one. White jade print. As soon as I saw the little white jade print, the gray old man and the young people in Xingyi couldn't help but look at each other, his face full of surprises. Immediately, the gray old man put down the black long whip shapeshift great art in his hand, turned the white jade print over and looked at it for a while, his eyes flashed, a cyan true yuan, toward this Bai Yu Xiaoyan was stuck in it. However, this true yuan has always been injected, but it seems to have been swallowed up directly. A white light suddenly shot from this white jade print, and suddenly fell into the eyebrows of Xingyi young people. Ah! The young man in Xingyi, who was looking forward to look at this white jade seal, suddenly distorted his face, and his naked body violently twitched, an extremely painful look. Body possession. When the gray-haired old lady saw such a lust scene, it suddenly reacted. A surging sound was unbelievably exclaimed, his face changed dramatically, and the subconscious mind would throw away the white seal in his hand. But at this time, the white little print in his hand was full of his own white great treasure. What makes this name of the gray-haired old man's eyes instantly full of horror is that the powerful energy on this small white print has even pushed him to hang on true yuan. Pa! I saw that in his horrified and desperate look, this white little print flew out of his hand and squatted on his chest, and he flew out from the light cyan boat. When it fell from the air to the surface of the sea, the entire chest of the grey old man had collapsed. It seems that the bones and internal organs have been shattered, and there is no life. On the light cyan boat, after the white seal hit the grey old man, it immediately fell on the deck. The spirit light great treasure lost, it seems to be a very lossy, weak look. After the time of 2 stick of incense, the twitching of the young body of Xingyi stopped. The young man in Xingyi, who looks very honest in appearance, seems to be completely ruthless at the moment. After seeing the position of Sea Immortal City, he did not make any stop. He quickly took the small white print on the front deck into his arms, and then carried the light cyan boat. Sailing away from Sea Immortal City quickly disappeared into the secret place. There are people who have got an ancient artifact spirit like you in the quiet room of Sea Immortal Sect Wei Suo's residence. Ji Ya looked at Wei Suo with a look of concern. Now he ate a great treasure in your hand. You said that he would have this ancient artifact on you. The news of spirit is coming out. It shouldn't be passed out, because if he spreads the news of this ancient artifact spirit on me, I will definitely spread the news of his Kylan King water seal. Now his cultivation base almost eliminates the great treasure half. If some golden core 4 foundation layers and even divine mystic realms cultivator are attracted to grab, his secret place is even worse than me. Wei Suo took a look at Ji Ya. But it doesn't rule out the possibility of this person being mad, but still have to guard against some, so to be on the safe side, I can say that I will retreat within Sea Immortal Sect and actually sneak back to Heavenly Profound Continent. Helps the old man to shape the grievances of Easter Jade Paradise, and to avoid the limelight. And Ji Ya thought about it and nodded. When Ji Ya and Wei Suo went out together, they changed their appearances. When they were together with Wei Suo, they met each other. At this moment, Ji Ya is wearing a lavender palace dress, which seems to be unpretentious and beautiful. However, if she is facing others with her own face, she still unconsciously feels the frosty feeling, but in front of Wei Suo's, she is like a thorough little woman. After returning to Heavenly Profound Continent, it is better to set up shapeshift great art to help the old man. As for Eastern Jade Paradise, we don't have to worry about it. After nodding, Ji Ya looked at Wei Suo and said this seriously. We almost died in the hands of the Eastern Jade Paradise guys. Now I'm married golden core, and it's such a great treasure, a golden core, no matter what. When I heard Ji Ya say this, Wei Suo was a bit strange. I don't want to have too many accidents. You used to talk to me quite right. If my master is still alive, I would definitely prefer to use that square to change me and Wei Wei's happiness. Eastern Jade Paradise is also a big sect, and there will always be a lot of power. I would rather have the 3 of us together, as long as we can be safe and happy. Ji Ya looked at Wei Suo's eyes and said. I understand what you mean, but a cultivator like us doesn't provoke others. Others may even provoke us. Even if we don't provoke Eastern Jade Paradise, there is no Eastern Jade Paradise. Maybe there will be a West Ya Resort, North Ya Resort. The key is to set up shapeshift great art to improve your cultivation base and strength. Now that I have arrived at Golden Core Realm, there are not many people who can provoke us. If you build a Golden Core, we have 2 Golden Core Great Treasure cultivators together, or I can break through a few cultivation bases, not to mention Divine Mystic Realm. Even if it is the level of Blood Spirit Old Ancestor, there is no scruples. It is. Anyway, I have already discussed with green-robed old man. This must be reported. Not only to export bad luck, to find trouble with these people, maybe you can also get a lot of good secret places that are good for cultivation. I also want them to double my dowry for clever wife. Wei Suo looked at Ji Ya, and his eyes were filled with soft lust that couldn't be said. Anyway, in his eyes, in the cultivation world, he might find some beautiful female cultivator that can be compared with Ji Ya. However, if you want to find a female cultivator that wants Jia to be so good, I am afraid it is very difficult. Wei Suo, you are talking about it and you are not serious. Jiya's jade face is slightly red. Clever wife, what are you calling me? Wei Suo's eyes turned, and a smile appeared on his face. How can I not be serious? I am the most serious. What about good fortune Dao pill? When I heard Wei Suo say good fortune Dao pill, Jiya suddenly got nervous. What? Of course, it's a good culture, to improve the strength. Clever wife, come out with this good fortune Dao pill and come out of culture. Wei Suo he smiled. No, no, Jiya seems like the white rabbit has seen the great treasure Grey Wolf, a panic that wants to run when he turns around. I have already given Wei a liquid medicine made by Heaven Yuan Jade Cicada. No accident, she must be very fast. I will wake up. It is she will wake up soon, so we have to hurry. Wei Suo immediately blocked Jiya's retreat, and some depressed look. In any case, after she woke up, it was estimated that at least for a long time, shapeshift great art dual cultivation was not available. You are not saying that this good fortune Dao pill has great treasure help for the strength of both of us. The sooner this medicine pill is refining, the better. As for her wake up, you don't have to worry about what she will find. When she wakes up, I will definitely find out with my divine consciousness, and with my divine consciousness pressure, I can't get her out of her. Now the quiet room door. You always find an excuse. Jiya glared at Wei Suo, but the pretty face was red and the apple was ripe. Clever wife, good fortune Dao pill. As soon as I saw Jiya, Wei Suo immediately grabbed Jiya with a smile. If it is a normal male cultivator, see Wei Suo's wretched look, it is estimated that you will not want to live to Wei Suo, you will feel a flower inserted in the cow dung. Jiya was hugged by Wei Suo and suddenly became hot. The body was completely softened. It was very shameful to bury a pretty face in Wei Suo's chest. It didn't say anything, but it was already good fortune Dao pill took it out. Clever wife, is this medicine pill the same as me? Wei Suo smiled even more slyly and asked. The medicine of this medicine pill is said to be very violent, your cultivation base is relatively high, and refining should be safer. Jiya is very shy and sounds the sentence. It seems that Wei Suo is deliberately teasing her at this time, and she has a lot of words. After saying this sentence, she also bite on Wei Suo's chest. Ah, can't eat. By Jiya, Wei Suo suddenly burst into flames. Good fortune Dao pill was swallowed up immediately, but even the heart demon attack in core formation was resisted. Now his mind is very firm, but he is so bitter by Jiya. It's hot and I can't find the feeling of the north. Ah. As a result, Jiya seemed to be deliberate, and he bit him hard. This time, Wei Suo couldn't stand it anymore, and immediately took Jiya up. This time, Jiya issued a surging sound, exclaimed, because the clothes on her body, just for a moment, Wei Suo was extremely light and familiar, and all took off. The flawless jade naked body, once again fit tightly with Wei Suo. Some dual cultivation shapeshift great art is the relationship between the two sides as long as true Yuan communicates, and the mystic fiend of Wei Suo and Jiya is to be in the intercourse of the two sides, and the intercourse of the fish and water. Cultivation of the work. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 388. Chapter 388 Saw Everything, Third More. According to the rules in the cultivation world, there is usually only the real earth-level top-rank medicine pill, and the word Dao will be crowned in the name. Vertex novels, handwriting novels. Upon swallowing this good fortune Dao pill, Wei Suo immediately felt that between the good fortune Dao pill, two different origin chi, one fiery hot and one ice cold. Fiery hot's origin chi, soon incorporated into his naked body, kept his energy growing. The origin chi of ice cold, who was snarling in his naked body, was not absorbed by his naked body, and seemed to be looking for a place to vent. and as he and Jia closely fit, according to the work of shapeshift great art, the ice cold of the ice cold run, is a stock that flows into Jia's naked body and is absorbed by Jia. Go in. This good fortune Deo pill, it really is the real earth level top rank medicine pill, good stuff. Wei Suo immediately felt it. With the chi from the good fortune Deo pill, Yun of Jia circulated a heavenly circuit in his naked body, and the mystic fiend Yin Qi was made. More than 6 to 7 times more. But for Wei Suo, the more great treasure surprise appeared. Suddenly he felt that Yin Yuan, who was wrapped in his Yang Yuan's Jia, suddenly had a strange rhythm in manifestation. With this sucking rhythm, Yin Ya of Jia poured into his naked body. The speed inside is several times faster. Originally, Wei Suo was extremely admired to create the cultivator of the dual applied shapeshift great art of cultivation. When the shapeshift great art was used, it was the double pleasure of power improvement and road making. Now it is such a this double pleasure is doubled, and Wei Suo called a surging sound at the time. Fortunately, this dual cultivation is not dangerous, otherwise Wei Suo may have a problem directly. Clever wife, what's going on? Wei Suo suddenly looked at Jia with some incredulity. Jia's impeccable jade naked body, at the moment, exudes a faint blush, which looks like peacetime when it's the same. At this moment see Wei Suo a pair of stunned appearance, originally peacetime dual cultivation of time, dare not how to see Wei Suo Jia, suddenly a more coy appearance, with fine can't smell surging sound voice replied, last UNC hunting assembly got that booklet, I later saw some records above, to this dual cultivation work shapeshift great art useful, just looked. Wei Suo was stunned again, and after an instant reaction, he was excited at once. Clever wife, then you are called koi water absorption or swallow the clouds with the moon. What surging sounds? A jade-like jade arm lifted up and fell again, rubbing eyes. The master of this jade arm is the outstanding but little beauty Han Wei. I saw the outstanding but beautiful woman of this softening entering bone. When she rubbed her eyes, she sat up in a confused way, and her mouth seemed to be somewhat dissatisfied. At this time, Han Wei only felt that he had slept, as if he had slept too long, his head was groggy, he couldn't understand the situation, and he was weak. After muttering, Han Wei, who rubbed his eyes, found that something was wrong. She saw where she was, a strange room that she had never been to. The room of this quiet room seemed to be more upscale than her heaven-grade residence in Spirit Peak City. While shaking his head, Han Wei saw that his clothes had also been replaced. Instead of wearing the previous Silver Cloud's shapeshift great art, she turned into a Cloud White's Palace dress women's shapeshift great art. And this Cloud White's Palace dress women's shapeshift great art is full of spiritual chi, which seems to be at least the true spirit class's shapeshift great art, which is much more upscale than her previous silver shapeshift great art. Where is this? This time Han Wei recalled that he seemed to be the poison of the elder of Eastern Jade Paradise in the rare treasure pavilion. It seems that he saw Wei Suo save himself. But what is the lust shape of the naked body? But it is awkward, I can't think of it. After moving my arms and legs, my mind is still a little faint. Han Wei, who is still not awake, only feels that her naked body is a little faint, but there is no great treasure. Is it because the old rogue Wei Suo saved me? What about the senior sister? At the same time that this thought flashed out of her mind, she stunned and seemed to be awake. At this time, she found out that the surging sound that has always been undone is not an illusion. That surging sound sounds as if there are two fish in the water is surging sound, but it seems to be mixed with a whispering surging sound, it seems like someone is in a nightmare. General. What makes her even more strange is that it is intermittent, like a whispering surging sound, which looks very similar to her senior sister Jia's surging sound. Senior sister. While she continued to look at the surrounding environment, the temptation was general, and some doubts shouted a surging sound. It's underscore crew underscore first name underscore Commonwealth underscore 26 I don't want it. Hidden, Han Weiwei heard such a surging sound. This with a thrilling surging sound, it seems that Jia is the same. Han Weiwei suddenly felt anxious, and after shaking his head with force, he quickly walked toward the direction of the surging sound. After passing through 2 rooms, she stood in front of a quiet room. Hesitating a little, slamming the door of the quiet room, just glanced at it, and Han Weiwei screamed incredulously. "Old rogue, you!" She saw that in the quiet room, Wei Suo was clutching her senior sister Jia, the naked body of the 2 men, tightly fitting and entangled. The naked body of Wei Suo and Jia are all indifferent and completely. Wei Suo's hands and still walked on Jiya's body. Jia is like a little sheep, pressed under the tiger, unable to tell the panic. Such a scene, Han Weiwei's reaction to the first time was a dream, but after biting his tongue, he found that he was not dreaming of Han Weiwei, and he was cold and his mind immediately appeared. Wei Suo was in the indecent assault of his own senior sister. Idea. But when she screamed a surging sound and wanted to kill the Wei Suo beast, she found that something was wrong. She saw Wei Suo's face, and it seemed to be burning with a cry, "No help!" And Wei Suo and Jia are flashing the blushing brilliance. Under the skin of 2 people, it seems that there is a stream of air that is surging at an alarming rate. Well, it's pretty clear. How did this happen? For a time, the head of Han Weiwei, who was very clever, was not enough. I don't know how long the great treasure brain stayed. The naked body of Wei Suo and Jia suddenly split. At the same time, apart from the turbulent atmosphere, Han Weiwei swayed. Jiya's chest was violently undulating, and the head did not dare to carry it quickly and was photographed in the clothes that Wei Suo had removed. When Jiya puts on his clothes, Wei Suo has only come back. He doesn't know where to put it, and he wears clothes quickly. "Are you awake?" Wei Suo wants to say hello to Han Weiwei, saying that because you have been in a coma for too long, your head is not so awake, so everything you just saw is an illusion. But with 2 mouths open, Wei Suo still felt that his face was not thick enough, and he couldn't say this for a while. "Senior sister, let me take a break." At this time, Han Weiwei suddenly said such a sentence. As soon as I turned around, I walked back to my original quiet room without looking back. Wei Suo, Jia looked at Wei Suo and glanced at it, and immediately chased it out. Only Wei Suo left alone in this quiet room. This can't blame me. Who knows that the last potion of this good fortune Dao pill will be so fierce? Wei Suo is now depressed and wants to die. It turned out that even if Han Weiwei woke up, as he said to Jia, there would be no shackles. As Han Weiwei woke up, Wei Suo did detect it immediately. But Wei Suo and Jia didn't think that the first half of the good fortune Dao pill's power distribution was very peaceful, but the latter half of the potency was suddenly violent, and the remaining potency was a moment. All turned out. And at this time, Jia is just accelerating in this way. Even if you are using Wei Suo's cultivation base, if you stop cultivation, you will have the possibility of exploding the naked body. So Wei Suo and Jia can only continue with the ongoing culture. At this time, Han Weiwei actually heard the surging sound and came to them. Feel Han Weiwei coming, Wei Suo and Jia stopped without shapeshift great art, and no shapeshift great art prevented Han Weiwei from entering. Originally, Wei Suo and Jia, still thinking about how Han Weiwei woke up, how to explain his relationship with Jia, now it's good, just see everything. I don't know what Jia and she said. Even if Wei Suo's face is thick enough, his face is hot when he thinks about the scene. What is the problem with mind-devouring bug? After a bitter smile, Wei Suo's thought flashed in his mind and couldn't help but want to go out. Because he discovered that Han Weiwei was coming and he was not blocked by shapeshift great art, he immediately gave an order to mind-devouring bug in another quiet room, instructing mind-devouring bug to intercept Han Weiwei. However, his mind-devouring bug has not reacted to the present, and seems to be sleeping. Let's take a look at the changes in Mystic Fiend Ghost Claw. However, after Wei Suo moved, it stopped again with a smile. Because the quiet room to mind-devouring bug is going through the quiet room of Han Weiwei, I don't know what Ji Ya is saying with Han Weiwei. In the past, when I saw Han Weiwei, it was very embarrassing. A surging sound of blue, and Wei Suo, who had stopped, waved his hand and saw a blue-black yin chi spewing out of his hand, instantly condensing a black ghost. This ghost claw actually flashed a layer of crystal light, looks like a crystal, more congeal than before. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 389. Don't be a cow. When the old man in green robe heard Wei Suo say this, he immediately shouted, "You're awkward, believe it or not, I just tell you what's inside, you have to cry." Is it? Wei Suo looked at the old man in green robe very arrogantly. Then you can just tell me one. Good. The old man in green robe snorted and clicked the yellow jade-like crystal in the jade cicada-like shape in Wei Suo's hand, and said, "You have heard it, this thing is called Yang Yuan Tian Chan Yu, like amber, the juice of a kind of ancient spirit tree condenses and changes into a natural shape of this jade toad. The biggest effect is that it can regulate qi and blood, warm up the soul, strengthen the physique, and it is very medicinal. Gentle. It can be said that it is the most suitable for Han Weiwei. This thing is given to Han Weiwei. No other elixir is used. It is estimated that Han Weiwei will be completely awake at the latest 1 or 2 days. Don't wait 3 or 5 days. It's exactly the same as when I met her before, maybe my physique will gradually become better and not necessarily better than before." What? Hearing the old man in green robe saying this, Ji Ya couldn't help but suddenly yelled. You must know that Han Weiwei is more important than her in her eyes, and Ji Ya has taken care of Han Weiwei these days. She is also very aware of her physical condition. Even if Han Weiwei wakes up immediately, if there is no such thing, Han Weiwei's, if you want to recover your physical condition as before, if you take care of yourself slowly, it is estimated that you will not be able to do it in a few months. But Wei Suo didn't make a sound, and didn't scream. Why, you can all work hard for Han Weiwei, and now she is finally going to be awakened by you. Are you not excited? Wei Suo's reaction made the old man in green robe a little stunned and couldn't help asking the sentence. Excited? Why aren't you excited? Wei Suo looked at Ji Ya and the old man in green robe and chuckled. But I'm not good at calling. I usually don't call when I'm excited. Wei Suo said in a sentence that Ji Ya's face suddenly flushed into her neck, hoping to stamp Wei Suo's foot, but she was afraid that the old man in green robe would think about it, and she lowered her head and did not look at Wei Suo. But she underestimated the degree of tacit understanding between the old man in green robe and Wei Suo. How do I know if you call it or not? Anyway, you are the standard with opposite and no humanity, and never let me see it. Said this sentence. Wei Suo looked at Ji Ya's cowardly look, and was very proud of her upstart at the moment, the first beauty of Lingyu City, who thought he would be my wife, so coy in front of me. After complacent, Wei Suo Ki looked very contemptuous and looked at the old man in green robe. Okay, anyway, I promised you, then I will mainly help you congeal, wait for you to condense yourself body shape. I will borrow more spirit stones for you at that time. You can see whatever you want. Now let me talk about the other 2 things. This piece of golden thunder god tree, if refined alone, has no effect. But if you get a Qingxu refined together, there is a great possibility that you can repair both Thunderling and Muling root at the same time. Now Wei Suo Du has already succeeded in becoming a Dandan monk. The old man in green robe is afraid that he will regret it. Regardless of his coagulation, the old man in green robe is no longer nonsense when he hears the coagulation. Said the golden wood in his hand. Lei, Xuanhuan. So powerful. This thing is not even recorded in the ancient charm I got. Wei Suo was stunned. He is now an ice-fire dual system monk, and he has successively cultivated a psychic root. Of course, he is very clear about how much more psychic roots are beneficial to the monk. Moreover, even the corpses on the icefield pillars of Xiaotian realm carry a jade rune that records the spirit root, knowing that this spirit root has been highly valued in the monastic world from ancient times to the present, and it is not only the monk Lingen knew the benefits of this root. Golden Thunder God Tree and Qingxu both of them are extremely rare, and Qingxu is said to be useful to God Xianjing monks. The general monks can't touch this kind of things at all, there is no record, and it is normal. The old man in green robe glanced at Wei Suo, but since you already have this piece of gold thunder tree in your hand, you can inquire about the Qingxu vine. After all, if you can cultivate 2 more spiritual veins, your cultivation speed, but it's almost a few % faster. You said this thing is called Po Danzu, what is it? Wei Suime put away the golden thunderwood with a smile, and picked up the remaining silver beads. Pandanzu is a magic weapon made by the Tiangang sect at that time. I did not know what kind of magic weapon this weapon was made of. The expression of the old man in green robe suddenly became very dignified. Get up, but this kind of thing is specially used to deal with Jindan monks. Once it collides with Jindan Ziyuguang of Jindan monks, it will explode. And its power is as good as yours. The extinct Jindan. The explosion range of this thing is relatively small, just for a Jindan monk. There is such a thing, as long as the other party uses Jindan to deal with you, even Jindanwei can exceed you. The monk Jindan has to suffer a big loss on your thing. This kind of thing was originally used to deal with monk Jindan, so the name is Po Danzu. Weisuo, the elders of Haixianzong gave you these things. I must have figured it out. The zombie sect still dare not make big moves, and it is you who care about it. It is more beneficial to Haixianzong to help you. But of these things, only this thing has the heaviest weight, because this thing can be called a life-saving thing. The elders who sent you this thing are the most sincere to you. The power is no less than that of the golden pearl of extinction Jindan. Wei Suo and Ji Ya couldn't help but looked at each other and took a deep breath. No, but the old man in green robe immediately remembered something and corrected it. The elder of Haixianzong, at most, only divides the cultivation of the mind. Even if he fights against Jin Dan, he may not be able to get gold. The Dan monk sacrificed the golden pill. So this thing, left in the elder's hands, may not be a life-saving thing, and it's not a cut for you. Anyway, this thing is just another thing at the bottom of the press box for me. Wei Suo nodded and looked at the silver beads in his hand. How did this bead inspire? I always pay attention to the true Yuan, and shoot towards the other party. Jin Dan, the old man in green robe, explained, this thing is very simple to use, and it is no different from the use of low-level magic tools such as burst of fire. Just pay attention to foolproof, make sure at least it's used when the opponent's Jindan Ziyuguang is condensed or when Jindan directly hits it. How is the usage of Yang Yuan Tian Chanyu? Wei Suo nodded. The Yanjia Yuanation Chanyu which had been stuffed into Jiya's hand. Boil it directly with clean water. This Yuanation cicada jade will slowly melt itself into a liquid medicine, and then let her swallow it directly. With the flow of qi and blood, the power will slowly melt away. In the current situation, this is the best. Got it? After Wei Suo nodded, he grabbed the ghost pot. Weisuo, you. The old man in green robe froze for a moment, and it seemed to immediately react to what Weisuo was going to do next, and cried. But just after screaming, we saw Wei Suo put the ghost-raising jar into the Nabeo. Wei Suo. After Ji Ya froze for a moment, Yu Yu's face was red again, and she turned around and wanted to run out. I'll cook and raise you and Tian Chan Yu. Good wife, finish the good things we just said before going, but she was immediately held by Wei Suo. Don't, Ji Ya shook her head and said, I'm going to boil Yang Yu and Tian Chan Yu first. Whether you are staying on the side. You. Seeing Jiya's infinitely shy look, Wei Suo was even more tempted. Who is it again? But at this time, what made him extremely depressed was that the bell-shaped musical instrument used for sound transmission shone again. Nothing special, they won't bother you. Wei Suo couldn't wait to smash this bell-shaped instrument, but Jiya was obviously much more sensible than him, and he said so to him immediately. What's the matter? Wei Jukai's expression depressed the bell-shaped magic instrument that heard Jiya's words. Elder Wei, the voice of the disciple Haixian sect named Linzai Uxian immediately sounded. The disciples of a famous Wangjia business firm said that their king's treasurer had 100,000 urgent matters for you. The king's shopkeeper has something urgent to look for me. Wei Suo was startled. The shopkeeper Wang now knows his identity, but Wei Suo is not surprised at all, because he knows that with his own tone of voice, coupled with the knowledge of the shopkeeper Wang, it is absolutely impossible to guess that the monk of the Tundun is his own. What surprises him is, what is going to happen to Wang's shopkeeper at this moment? Asterisk. After hesitating a little, Wei Suo's face appeared more depressed. The corner of Jiya's mouth, however, showed a smile of forbearance. Now Wei Suo and Jiya don't know about the mysterious young man in white robe. When the two of them want to come, the king's shopkeeper is anxious to find Wei Suo at this moment. It is likely that there is something urgent about the corpse sect, otherwise, even if he wanted to find Wei Suo, he should not have said that there were 100,000 urgent matters. Encountered such a thing, Wei Suo naturally cannot delay. I was interrupted again to practice again, and I will make up one more time when I come back. I will go out and see what happens to the king's treasurer looking for me. But Jiya looked a little bit happy, and Wei Suo's eyes turned. But he said a word that made her more blushing and hot. Good wife, wait for me to come back. After kissing Jiya quickly, Wei Suo's figure flashed out of Jiya's exclamation and flew out. 11. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 391. Chapter 391. Let me play with your bird. What are these monster beasts? Once inside the room where Wei Suo was used to nurture mind-devouring bug, Han Wei was immediately taken aback. The body of the 7 silver scale monster beast in Little Heavenly Realm, the body of primal chaos Yunwei drilled from the naked body of Chen Old Devil, the queen of the queen silver scale monster beast evolved into 4 primal chaos Yunwei, the arm of the Prima Chaos Yunwei, and the ancient Prima Chaos Yunwei, which has been dried up in the naked body, were thrown into the room by Wei Suo. Even if Han Wei's knowledge is worse, I feel that the level of these monster beasts is very terrifying. These monster beasts are the monster beasts in the Little Heavenly Realm I told you, Jiya immediately explained to Han Wei. N. With a glimpse of his eyes, Wei Suo's face immediately flashed a surprise look, grabbed it, and took a picture from the body of a silver scale monster beast. The thing that he caught in his hand was almost a transparent one, and it looked like a mind-devouring bug. But his mind-devouring bug is now soaked in a jade pot full of liquid medicine, and he is caught in his hand, which is a layer of skin that his mind-devouring bug has faded. According to Wei Suo's previous experience in cultivating this mind-devouring bug molting represents the re-advancement of mind-devouring bug. During this time, Wei Suo had to make a full impact on core formation, so he did not help him with this mind-devouring bug. He only prepared a few pots of nursed demon liquid. But I did not expect that this mind-devouring bug was actually advanced again. This is a very unexpected surprise for Wei Suo. Sure enough, it is advanced again. Green-robed old man followed Wei Suo and was very experienced. When he saw the skin of mind-devouring bug on Wei Suo's hand, he immediately said this. It seems that this high-level monster beast is not good for the cultivation of this mind-devouring bug. A level 7, level 8 monster beast, is likely to be equivalent to hundreds of 4 level 5 monster beast. Wei Suo nodded and couldn't help but say, it seems that I have to do a little bit of high-level monster beast in shapeshift great art. With your current cultivation base, You can also try to hunt some high-level monster beasts. However, this high-level monster beast itself is also very rare. Where there is a high-level monster beast, still have to inquire. Otherwise, if you rely on the low-grade monster beast to earn spiritual stones, it would be too much for your golden core stage cultivator. With your cultivation base, you can also compete with some great sect for some good things. The next step is to get the news, and hear what is good for culture. If you have a great treasure and a secret place, you have to snatch it. After these words, green-robed old man looked at the skin of mind-devouring bug in Wei Suo's hand. Have you not received 2 pieces of smashed skin before? Together, it should be enough to refine an invisible shape-shift great art. In particular, the 2 skins that have been smashed down should be better than the skin of the mind-devouring bug that you have previously obtained. The invisible shape-shift great art clothing should be better. It's right, it's better to go back and find the artificer that helped me refine the stealth shape-shift great art with the experience of the last refining. Refining should not be rectified. Woke up. Just as Wei Suo put together the skin of mind-devouring bug, it seems that they were awakened by their conversation. The surine sound, the mind-devouring bug in the liquid medicine was moving and woke up. Wei Suo, is your mind-devouring bug so long great treasure? As soon as I saw the outline of mind-devouring bug in the liquid, Han Weiwei, mind-devouring bug, who almost starved to her, was suddenly depressed. Wei Suo didn't talk, just looking at the mind-devouring bug vision flickered for a moment. I saw that his mind-devouring bug jumped out of the liquid and immediately became completely invisible, but then there was no movement. Why, isn't this a direct attack or a defensive ability created after the mind-devouring bug advanced? Ji Ya sees that Wei Suo should have just developed this talent after the mind-devouring bug advanced. At this moment, mind-devouring bug is no movement, she can't help but ask. This sentence. It seems to be the same abilities as the one that was created after the last step, not the direct attack or the defensive ability. Wei Suo frowned slightly. This mind-devouring bug is not as spiritual as the Yang Rouge bird, but it is not difficult to know. Right, I almost forgot about it and I have to do it right away. When he mentioned Yang Rouge bird, Wei Suo immediately responded and took out the great treasure candle he got at the Wang family business auction. Immediately, the Yang Rouge bird was released on the slave bag with the Yang Rouge bird. Without monster core, the spirituality of Yang Rouge bird will slowly disappear. Wei Suo was only talking about the condition because it was very psychic. If this Yang Rouge bird loses its spirituality and does not know Wei Suo has no other shape-shift great art to control the beast, but it takes a lot of hands and feet. These days, Wei Suo also hit the golden core. After the success of core formation, it was linked to Yeling and the cultivator who had the inheritance of 3 sovereigns section. It was not enough to take care of the bird. Average. Wei Suo was relieved that the Yang Rouge bird was released. Although the spirit light on his body was very bleak, his eyes were obviously murky, but he still recognized Wei Suo's. As soon as I saw the fruit of Wei Suo's hand like a small red candle, the Yang Rouge bird immediately swung down and swept down, swallowing it all at once, swallowing the great treasure candle. This is Yang Rouge bird, very cute. Come, Wei Suo, let me play with your bird. Han Weiwei saw this Yang Rouge bird and was excited. Upon hearing the words of Han Weiwei, Wei Suo was speechless. After a while, Great Treasure took a sigh of relief and said, "Sorry, this bird is not controlled by me. If you want to play, you discuss it with it. Come, obediently, come to elder sister, and elder sister will find you a delicious fruit next time." At the end, Han Weiwei, who didn't think of the secret place, suddenly reached out and excitedly caused the Wei Suo's bird to get up. After hearing Han Weiwei say that Yang Rouge bird hesitated, it really fell into the hands of Han Weiwei. Seeing this lust shape, Wei Suo shook his head in a speechless manner, first collecting mind-devouring bug, and then a purple true yuan emerged from his hand, but took the body of a silver-scale monster beast. Immediately, under his true yuan squeezing, I saw a small silver monster core, which was squeezed out from the mouth of the silver scale monster beast. It was only a moment, and in the hands of Weisuos, there were 8 more monster cores. Among the 9 monster cores, 7 of them were taken from the 7 body of the silver scale monster beast. They are almost the same as the giant treasure. They look like sterling silver, but they seem to be very heavy. Amalgam is generally flowing. The other one is also a small egg-like great treasure, but this monster core is taken from the naked body of primal chaos Yunwei from the broken body of Chen old devil naked body. This monster core, the naked body is also pure silver, but the surface has some strange, scale-like rune, exudes a ray of sunshine, and even gives a cultivator golden core-like feeling. The high-level monster beast's inner core, if you have pill recipe, will be amazing if it is made into medicine pill. Especially for the monster beast inner core above level 6, the refined medicine pill is generally at least the earth level's medicine pill. And these silver scale monster beast are level 6 high level monster beast, primal chaos Yunwei, but also up to level 8 monster beast. This inner core, if you can refine medicine pill, it is at least earth level top rank. The above medicine pill is at least 1 level with good fortune Deo pill. It's just primal chaos Yunwei. This kind of monster beast is rarer than amethyst fox rose in ancient, especially the monster beast, which is a variant of the silver scale monster beast. It is even less likely that there is a suitable pill recipe. This type of monster core can only be immersed in the singularity of the singularity of the singularity that can only be refined by the 8th-grade alchemist. Dan Yuan's effectiveness, great treasure is only half of the effectiveness of this type of monster core. However, as long as it is a level 6 or more inner core, even if it can lead to half of the effectiveness, it is also very worthwhile. After collecting the 8 monster cores, a surging sound sounded softly, and I saw the monster core of the forearm primal chaos Yunwei of the body of the giant treasure, which was also squeezed by Weisuo from the wound in his abdomen. Come out. So great treasure. This monster core's great treasure is small. Weisuo is not surprising, because he already knew that this monster core is full of duck-like great treasure. But Han Weiwei, who is happy to play with the birds, is a little dumbfounded when he sees such a great treasure of monster core. The surface of this monster core is also silver, but the entire monster core is translucent. And the entire monster core also exudes a burst of silver brilliance. The flash of this silver brilliance is also very rhythmic, like the tides of the same burst. Weisuo, this monster core also gives me a play. Weisuo took a look at this strange monster core for a moment and then wanted to put this monster core away. But Han Weiwei, on the side, was excited and screamed. Weisuo also knows that she is such a thing she has never seen before, and she feels very fun, so she didn't think much about it. She directly lost this monster core to Han Weiwei, who is playing his bird. Next, Weisuo took all the other monster beast bodies and began to look at the bones of the four-armed primal chaos Yunwei. Immediately, I saw Weisuo hand in hand and took out a spirit shift great art great treasure from spirit rank. It seemed that I wanted to try the skeleton of this primal chaos Yunwei. Is it as good as I imagined? Black Bone Dark Lord. But at this time, a force of shapeshift great art spreads behind him. Immediately, an extremely powerful giant treasure suddenly emerged from behind him. The vitality of this strong great treasure, giving him the first feeling, it is like an ancient desolate behemoth, suddenly born. What happened? Weisuo suddenly turned to the head. When he turned his head, he only saw Han Weiwei and Jia, green-robed old man, and they all looked at the strange monster core in the hands of Han Weiwei. On the monster core, there was a faint flash of green light, and the majestic vitality was radiated from the silver monster core in the hands of Han Weiwei. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziwei. Chapter 392. Chapter 392 Accidental. Han Weiwei's silver monster core flashed at a speed that was twice as fast as it used to be. Vertex novels, handwriting novels. What's really going on? Wei Suo asked. Another surging sound, and at the moment he had some surging sound. This primal chaos Yunwei is extremely eccentric, but he remembers clearly that the ancient primal chaos Yunwei, which was sealed in the altar of the little heavenly realm, has been dead for many years, but 5 golden shapeshift great art to assist the seal. When the great treasure was taken out, the silver liquid that flew out inside, but it immediately killed the golden core cultivator like Chen old devil. I just watched this monster core as if it were an egg. I used it for a while. How do I know that? Han Weiwei, who was a little surprised and his face was a little white, was an innocent defense. Controlling, died Wei Suo, however, stayed for a while and immediately plunged to Han Weiwei. Let him immediately cannot help but a deep breath is, now this primal chaos Yunwei's monster core, giving him the feeling is not like a monster core, but think of it as a beast. A huge stock of vitality, with the bursts of silver flashing, from this monster core, like the monster core, is breathing in a rhythm. Have you been successful in this control? Resist the shock in my heart. Wei Suo looked at Han Weiwei and asked such a sentence. Successful, is this really not monster core, just an egg? When he heard Wei Suo ask, Han Weiwei, who had been shocked, was proud of it. What? When I heard Han Weiwei's answer, Ji Ya and green-robed old man couldn't help but take a breath. Then, do you feel that when did the primal chaos Yunwei great treasure meeting in it hatch? Wei Suo looked at Han Weiwei and asked this one. This thing hatches as fast as it seems, and it seems like it will hatch in a day or two. Han Weiwei held the silver translucent monster core and replied with excitement. As soon as this language came out, Wei Suo and Ji Ya and green-robed old man suddenly couldn't speak. This fact is too unbelievable. This thing core chi is full, is definitely a monster core, cannot be beast eggs, but now Han Weiwei unexpectedly is to display the success of the control, think, and then Lenovo to the previous primal chaos Yunwei died so many years later, can also shoot out of silver liquid, in Chen old devil naked the body inside break naked body rebirth. This matter is only one explanation makes sense, that is this primal chaos Yunwei breeding way and the general monster beast different. It is possible to be a larva like silver liquid, sealed in the monster core. In this way, monster core really seems to become a beast. Now that Han Weiwei has inadvertently applied his control skills, isn't it possible to successfully control a level 8 monster beast? Level 8 monster beast. Wei Suo and others can remember clearly, if there is not a single head of several golden core cultivator monsters, and he has a different great treasure like Green Seeker Silver Staff, even Yeling and Yao Sanzan plus them, 4 or 5 golden core stage great treasure cultivators together, are not necessarily the opponent of the 4-armed primal chaos Yunwei. But now Han Weiwei, actually got a monster beast like this at once. Wei Suo's slave beast is definitely not the square shapeshift great art of the monster beast of primal chaos Yunwei. But from the lust shape of the little heavenly realm demon sealing mountain, primal chaos Yunwei should be just like some monster beast, and feed on the rest of the monster beast. As long as it is successfully hatched, it should at least not be starved to death. The skinny dead camel is more than the horse great treasure, this level of monster beast. I am afraid that just the young naked body that has just hatched, the strength will be very terrifying. Wei Suo, this thing is not for you now, you shouldn't count me as spiritual stones. At this time Han Weiwei couldn't help but say such a sentence. This primal chaos Yunwei is very surprised. In the little heavenly realm, a silver liquid was directly drilled into the naked body of the golden core cultivator, killing a golden core cultivator directly. You should be careful. If you feel something is wrong, tell us right away. Wei Suo didn't have the slightest joke with her, and she was very dignified in intercourse. With his current cultivation base, the monster beast below level 7, naturally there is no need to worry, but this level 8 monster beast, especially the strange monster beast of primal chaos Yunwei, is still beyond his control. That's still outside, take something and say it. Listening to Wei Suo, Han Wei is a little scared and afraid to put it on his body. This is of course the most insured, so put it in this quiet room first. Anyway, I have to prepare something, and it will take some time to get back to heavenly profound continent. You can look at the lust shape after hatching. Wei Suo nodded and took the rest of the monster beast naked body, leaving only the naked body of the four-armed primal chaos Yunwei. For a time, the quiet room, which was still very crowded, suddenly became empty. Good. What is related to his own life is that Han Wei is still not kidding. It is very obedient to put the silver translucent monster core in his hand on a table in the quiet room. Wei Suo didn't have any extra movements. He reached out and touched the body of primal chaos Yunwei, which was a four-armed arm, and inspired a silver sharp shape-shift great art great treasure. I saw that the silver axe immediately turned into a silver light, extremely precise on a bone in the abdominal wound of the four-arm primal chaos Yunwei. Dang! A group of sparks exploded, and the two collided, and it turned out to be a surging sound of gold and iron impact. The silver axe flew back into the hands of Wei Suo's, and Wei Suo's eyes swept away, and there was a pleasant surprise in his eyes. On the silver axe, where the bone hit, there was a small gap, and the silver-bearing bone in the silver was slick as new, even a gap. Stay. The silver axe is one of the shape-shift great art great treasures that Wei Suo got from the young man in the secret place White Robe. It is also the spirit shift great art great treasure of spirit rank high grade. At this moment, the silver axe was cut, but there was no scar on the bones, and the axed body itself was damaged. This shows that the skeleton of this primal chaos Yunwei is at least tough enough to achieve the defense of the Shao rank. Above the art great treasure. Primal Chaos Yunwei has at least a level 8 low grade and is likely to have a level 8 mid-level, according to Yeling's refining of the Black Bone Dark Lord's classics, used to refine the Black Bone Dark Lord. In this case, the offensive strength is certainly enough, even more powerful than the Golden Core first layer's shapeshift great art powerful energy. But the same is true in the classics. The weakness of the Black Bone Dark Lord is that it is strong and weak. Its own skeleton does not have much defensive power, and the attack method is the same as the monster beast. It is very monotonous and is used for defense. Know if it is easy for oneself to be defeated at once, then there is no point in refining. Now that Wei Suo has tried it out, the skeleton of this primal chaos Yunwei is so strong that it can be prepared to refine other materials of the Black Bone Dark Lord. Is this monster beast's bones so strong? Han Wei didn't see the monster beast before, but still can't believe it. Wei Suo is slightly indulged, reaching out, and a true Yuan is playing in this quiet room for sound transmission on the bell shapeshift great art. Elder Wei, what is your order? Immediately, a respectful surging sound sounded up. Help me, ask Li Elder, who is retreating. If I have time to see me, Wei Suo said. If he can take time, you will come with me. Disciple will go right away. Whoa, okay, Wei Suo, you think it's good if you use the bloodshift great art knife to suck Li Yazan's blood, then you have a lot of pressure on the bottom of the box. Green-robed old man listened to Wei Suo looking for Li Yazan. I was excited. I said, the old man, can you not be so upset? Wei Suo listened to cry, Li Yazan at least is our own good. Besides, Yin Corp sect all recognized the blood shapeshift great art knife. This handle shapeshift great art, the knife itself has no defensive weaknesses. It will certainly be more and more people know. Moreover, this handle shapeshift great art knife speed is generally, if encounter golden core stage cultivator, not too great treasure roll of. There is nothing, you are not familiar with it anyway. Green-robed old man swears. What do you want to find him now? I want to go to the Reverend Firecloud's cave and to find ominous fire secrets. The antiquity ominous fire secrets that Reverend Firecloud passed to me should be the most powerful offensive shapeshift great art on hand, and I will show it with my current cultivation base, maybe compared to a pair shift of Deo rank high grade. Great art great treasure is also useful. It's just that the shapeshift great art needs to be grounded by Black Fiend Fire Chi. First, 16 antiquity ominous fires are built in the naked body. It is generally difficult to find a place with pure black fiend fire chi. Wei Suo looked at Ji Yat and explained, I think Reverend Fire Cloud has already made this arrangement because of the Dao technique shapeshift great art. Li Yazan and Reverend Fire Cloud intercourse lust are good, and they have entered his Dongfu and asked him what he should know. Yes, there is fire spirit root in your naked body, culture, which is the fire attribute, shapeshift great art, and the power should have a bonus. Green-robed old man looks like this. The next step back to heavenly profound continent is mainly to avoid the limelight and help you shape things. But you said that at least the cultivation base of the golden core third layer can help you shape. Here's how to improve our cultivation base and help you find something that looks like a condensate. You should plan it. The guy who got the inheritance of 3 sovereigns sect, obviously has touched a lot of places and got a lot of good secret places. You are a good place without taking me through. That is your previous cultivation base is not enough, blame me. I will let you see my power when I go back this time. The Kylan King actually said that I was a non-invasive shapeshift great art device. It wasn't for me to make it happen. The people I brought were not as good as I brought it. Fortunately, it ran fast. After a few more words with green-robed old man, the bell-shaped shapeshift great art for sound transmission in the quiet room glowed, and after the release of Wei Suo's True Yuan, the Sea Immortal sect disciple surging sound the sound horse came in, Elder Wei, Li Elder has come in person. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 393. Chapter 393 Burning Lord of Spiritual Stones. A young Sea Immortal sect disciple in a silver shirt stood very respectfully outside the Wei Suo's residence. Vertex Novels, Handwriting Novels. This name is the disciple, which is the name of Linzai Uxian that is familiar to Wei Suo. Behind him stood a yellow-shirt middle-aged cultivator dressed as a scribe. The yellow-shirt middle-aged cultivator looked like a romantic, and the spiritual chi, which was emitted from the body, formed the shape of a blossoming ice-blue catkin. This cultivator is naturally the golden core stage cultivator Li Yazan. Elder Wei. Under the gleam of yellow light, Wei Suo saw his figure from his residence. The Sea Immortal sect disciple, named Linzai Uxian, immediately took a very respectful ceremony. Li Elder, I am sorry to disturb your closed-door cultivation. Elder Wei, I don't think that in a short period of time, you have already succeeded in core formation and killed Yeling. It's unimaginable. Li Elder, come to my house and say /P. After a few words, Wei Suo invited Li Yazan into his residence. After more than an hour after the great treasure, Xuanhuan flashed and Li Yazan walked alone from Wei Suo's residence. After nodding his head at Linzai Uxian, who was still waiting outside Wei Suo's residence, he walked away from his retreat. Looking at the look on his face, although it was long known that the Wei Suo core formation succeeded and killed Yeling, it was still unbelievable until now. /P. What, huge core Reverend Wei Suo retreat, want to hit the golden core realm second layer. Just the second day after Wei Suo and Li Yazan met, the news of Wei Suo's retreat was spread in Sea Immortal City. He is a 20-year-old core formation. He is the first person in the Cloud Spirit continent for hundreds of years. Now he has to directly impact the cultivation base of the golden core second layer. Is he getting the great treasure of heaven defying? /P. I think he did this. He was afraid that Yin Corp sect would retaliate. If he didn't close the door, he wouldn't be concealed by Yin Corp section. The tree seems beautiful in a forest, but is easily toppled by the wind. The age of Wei Suo is so successful in core formation that it may cause a lot of sex taboos. It may be that Yin Corp sect will deal with him. He is probably the best choice. /P. /P. Just when I heard that the cultivator of this news couldn't help but discourse spiritedly, Wei Suo and Ji Ya and Han Wei were all secret places in a quiet room with 4 black walls. The floor of this quiet room is covered with a blue crystal stone. These crystal stones exude a unique cold, wet smell, which makes the secret place feel very refreshing in the quiet room cultivator. There is a feeling like a spring breeze. But a great treasure hall outside the quiet room is filled with a hot fire, a baleful aura, like an oven. If there is a cultivator at the moment to see the inside and outside of the secret place where Wei Suo and others are located, it will be found that Wei Suo and others are in the hillside of a black painted island. This lacquered black island is only 200 feet high, but the square is only a few hundred miles away. The top is sunken and the grass is not born. There are many deep gullies on the mountain body, and there are bursts of hot air and smoke. This small island is awesome away from the fire island. Wei Suo didn't know it at the moment. Since killing Ye Ling in the eyes of the public, he has a great treasure huge core reverend among the cloud part continent's northern part all cities. The title. Now mention huge core reverend Wei Suo, cloud spirit continent northern part all cities, but no one knows, no one knows. Now he and Ji Ya and Han Wei, including the green-robed old man suspended above the ghost-raising jar, are staring at a stone table in the middle of the quiet room. On this black stone table, a silver translucent monster core is flashing silver. This monster core is the 4-armed silver monster core. As time passed, suddenly, on this strange monster core, a sudden surging sound cracked. Upon hearing the surging sound, Wei Suo's face suddenly slammed and reached out. As for the great treasure, he took out 2 golden shapeshift great treasures and aimed at the monster core. Immediately, a crack appeared on the crystal monster core shell. Like the egg-breaking shell, the monster core's outer shell was split into 2 halves along the crack, and a small monster beast, which appeared in the eyes of Wei Suo et al. So cute. Han Wei, who was also nervous, was afraid of what was weird inside, and the eyes suddenly turned on. Not 4 arms. This is like the real primal chaos Yunwei. Ei Suo and Ji Ya and green-robed old man are also slightly stunned. I saw the broken shell from this monster core. It was a small, 2-armed primal chaos Yunwei. It was covered with silver scales, but the figure was bumpy and convex. It was actually the same as the original queen. The grade silver scale monster beast has a similar appearance of 6 or 7 points. It looks like a female cultivator wearing a silver armor. It is just that the original silver scale monster beast or primal chaos Yunwei gives a feeling of sly and demon, but this primal chaos Yunwei looks rather cute and cute. And Wei, is there something that feels wrong? However, Wei Suo, who had seen such a monster beast, did not dare to take it lightly because of the appearance of the hatched monster beast. He immediately asked. Nope, Han Wei wants to grab this monster beast and play it, but he doesn't dare to look like it. Something nervous, Wei Suo, I feel this monster beast seems to want to eat this broken monster core, what do you say? Wei Suo looked at his eyes and looked at his eyes. He seemed to be curiously looking at their little monster beast. He nodded his head and said, then you ordered it to eat by yourself. Yes. Han Wei immediately nodded obediently. I didn't see her movements. The height was less than a foot. Primal Chaos Yunwei, like a small female cultivator, was very happy to pick up half of the monster core and bite and smashed. Soon, Han Wei was stunned. Splitting into 2 halves of monster core, the middle is a lot of empty, but no matter what it is, it looks like a little beast, looks like a great treasure. And these 2-half monster core, it is obviously like crystal stone, very strong, but this is less than a stick of incense time. Kaka is like a watermelon. This little beast will be half a piece of monster core. When I finished, I was very happy to pick up another half of the monster core. Wei Suo, you said it should not be killed. Seeing that the belly of this little beast was obviously bulging, Han Wei couldn't help but look at Wei Suo. If the level 8 monster beast can be so stupid, if you eat yourself, then you can just let it die. Wei Suo looked at Han Weiwei and said. Han Weiwei thinks about it too, so I don't worry, just watch this little beast continue to lick the remaining half of the monster core. Just using a stick of incense time, the remaining half of the monster core was also stunned by this little beast. However, the belly of this little beast is not as much as the great treasure when compared to the previous half of the monster core. It seems that half of the monster core has been digested by it. After eating this half of the monster core, the little beast actually squatted on the stone table, and then it was a pair of blind eyes watching Han Weiwei's god lust, actually a hungry stomach, did not eat full of looks. Not yet full? What should I do? Wei Suo, would you like to get a monster beast and see if it should be eaten? And Weiwei obviously was a little beast on the intercourse, and immediately couldn't help but look at Wei Suo. Looking at the little beast, Wei Suo didn't answer. After a slight sigh, it was the monster core of the 7 silver scale monsters and the broken body from Chen's old devil's naked body. The monster core of primal chaos Yunwei was taken out. Suo, it seems like I really want to eat these monster cores, and Weiwei blinked and immediately called for a surprise. In fact, even if Han Weiwei doesn't say this, Wei Suo already knows this, because when he gets out of these monster cores, this little beast immediately has a very grinning table lust, which is going to him. Pounce over. First order it not to move. Wei Suo immediately said the sentence. Han Weiwei didn't know why Wei Suo said this, but before he quit his mouth, but when he encountered something lust, he used to listen to her arranged by Wei Suo, and immediately did not think much about it. Dynamic order. The little beast stopped immediately and stared at the monster core in Wei Suo's hand. However, Wei Suo first collected all of these monster cores, but took out a few other monster cores of the monster beast. Then look at Han Weiwei and ask, do you feel that this monster beast is interested in these monster cores? Interested. It obviously also has food, but it doesn't seem as strong as it was just now. And Weiwei immediately cried out, don't you say that this monster beast is exclusively for monster core. Should be, you let it eat. Wei Suo put the monster cores back together and placed the monster core of primal chaos Yunwei from the broken body of Chen old devil naked body in front of the little beast. Hey! This little beast immediately happily held the monster core and licked it again. Sure enough, it seems that my primal chaos Yunwei is not hungry. Senior sister, what do you call me? Called primal chaos Yunwei. Eating such a lust scene, Han Weiwei was delighted to have a good time. This is really the Lord who burns spiritual stones. Upon seeing such a scene, Wei Suo was a good pain. His mind-devouring bug is just the brain of the monster beast. At most, the nurturing demon liquid takes a lot of spiritual stones, but this primal chaos Yunwei is directly eating monster core. It seems obvious that the higher the level of monster core, the more powerful it is, the more it wants to eat. This is a high-level monster core, but it is the great treasure that the great treasure puts the spiritual stones. The most critical of this level 8 monster beast, do not know how many monster core to swallow to grow. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 394. Chapter 394 Antiquity Ominous Fire. The appetite of this silvery little beast is indeed good. Vertex Novels, Handwriting Novels. After the monster core of primal chaos Yunwei from the broken old body of Chen old devil naked body, this silver little beast had once again smashed the monster core of a silver scale monster beast. Look, satisfied with the stop. Just watching this silver little beast finally eaten, Han Weiwei wants to play this little beast. This little beast actually smashed his head, slammed his eyes twice, directly shouted great treasure to sleep. It's up. If you are full, you can sleep, how can you like a pig? Han Weiwei couldn't help but swear by such a sentence, but she couldn't resist curiosity. She couldn't help but reach out and hug the silver beast that was screaming at great treasure. Haha, it's so soft, It's not hard at all. The silver scales on the silver beast are soft and soft to the touch. Han Weiwei squeezed his arm and pinched his face, very happy. But what immediately made her face red, she found that this silver beast and female cultivator is too much like a point. It seems that there should be something. It seems that I have to wear a shapeshift great art dress. After the thought of this genius flashed through her mind, Han Weiwei satisfactorily screamed at the precious treasure that the silver beast that was sleeping was in a ready-made slave bag. Let's go. Seeing that Han Weiwei controlled this silvery little beast did not seem to be unusual. Wei Suo nodded after nodding. He walked out of the quiet room, crossed the great treasure hall, and entered a long and narrow road. In an astonishing heat wave rushed out of this long and narrow martyr, giving the impression that this martyrdom seems to be a volcanic crater that keeps erupting. As he reached this ramp, Jia reached out and inspired a red bead. This bead blazed a circle of reddish glow, wrapping all three. This bead is the Wei Suo's Pearl Shift Great Art Bead. After inspiring this Shapeshift Great Art Bead, three people walked in along the ramp. After walking about 20 feet, the air in the front corridor has been distorted and deformed. And the corridor walls is all suffused with gold iron luster, looks very obviously is specially lays the thick essence metal, otherwise, the light this inside is revealing the heat, will burn here all like the hot porridge like a regiment, there would be no such a good corridor to go through. After walking more than 30 feet, Wei Suo and others stopped. I saw a hole in the cave that appeared in front of them. The walls of the entire cave are obviously covered with essence metal that can withstand extremely high temperatures. Among the caves with a radius of more than 30 feet, 5 red and half-shaped tall crystal columns stand on the ground. A black oil-like flame, like a candle flame, a straight tree at the top of the 5 red crystal columns. I saw Wei Suo looking at the thickness of the 5 thumbs. After a moment of black oil-like flames, his hands moved slightly, but a yellow divine light screen appeared. Then, Wei Suo nodded to Jia and Han Weiwei, and the dignified step took a step beyond the red glow of the shapeshift great art. Chi! 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 On the yellow divine light screen outside Wei Suo, the hot oil poured into the hot iron like surging sound, and the brilliance of the divine light screen trembled. His divine light screen, the mysterious yellow divine light passed to him by Xuanhuan old ancestor, is the shapeshift great art of heaven level low grade, which is displayed with his current cultivation base, at least with the defense power of Dao rank. From the lust shape of the current energy loss of the divine light screen, the heat in this cave is the powerful energy of the spirit level low grade fire attribute shapeshift great art great treasure. Seeing such a scene, the table lust on Wei Suo's face became more dignified. And Jia and Han Weiwei behind him are obviously more nervous. Even Han Weiwei, who has never been quiet, does not emit any surging sound, obediently watching Wei Suo. I saw that Wei Suo had walked to the place where one of the red crystal pillars was about a foot away from the great treasure, and stopped. Subsequently, he took a deep breath, and his hands even pinched several shapeshift great art, an open mouth, but it spewed out a black-red brilliance from the mouth. This brilliance hit the straight, burning black oil-like flame in front of him. After the time of the half-stick of incense, the black oil-like flame was suddenly introduced into Wei Suo's mouth along this black-red brilliance. The black-red brilliance immediately received, as if intercepting a black oil-like flame. Immediately after Wei Suo's naked body, a stalk of spiritual qi rolled around him. It seems obvious that true yuan in the naked body is very expensive, just like suppressing a wild beast in the naked body. General. After the time of the half-stick of incense, the great treasure was a surging sound of call, a purple qi flame sprayed out from Wei Suo's mouth, and the surging spiritual qi outside him was calm. Come down. The god lust on his face is also obviously loose. No problem upon seeing such a lust scene, Jia couldn't help but ask for surging sound. That's it. Wei Suo figured back, but first retreated into the red glow of the shapeshift great art beads, then nodded and reached forward, a little black light flew out from his fingertips. A glimpse of the air in front. Is this the antiquity ominous fire? Secrets condense antiquity ominous fire. Han Weiwei was surprised to see that the black light that flew from the fingertips of Wei Suo was an inch long, Lingzi-like black flame. Wei Suo nodded, but reached out and took out a piece of bronze ore. Then he reached for a stroke and a true yuan poured into the Lingzi-like black flame that floated in front of him. I saw that his true yuan was pouring in. The black Lingzi flame was suddenly put on a black light, and a black flame came out and rolled up to the bronze ore. The bronze ore melted almost instantly, and then it was burned directly into a group of chi flame, which was burned clean. So smart, Han Weiwei was stunned. She can see that the bronze ore thrown by Wei Suo is just an ordinary Huangxian copper ore, but the ore is directly burned in one fell swoop. The powerful energy of this fire power is somewhat terrifying. Sure enough, it's the heaven-level great-level shape-shift great art. Wei Suo reached out and the black Lingzi-like flame was hidden at his fingertips. This time, he also tried it out, why the shape-shift great art had to set up the shape-shift great art congeal out of the antiquity ominous fire. According to the sharp-shift great art, congeals antiquity ominous fire, it is possible to turn true yuan into a hot black fiend fire chi. Now he is only condense an antiquity ominous fire, and after the shape-shift great art condenses 16 antiquity ominous fires, it will be more powerful. Moreover, the shape-shift great art also has a secret place, which can burn something invaded into the cultivator naked body. At the same time, Reverend Fire Cloud and Chen Old Devil also had a silver liquid from Primal Chaos Yunwei, and Chen Old Devil was instantly broke the naked body and died, and the Reverend Fire Cloud immediately used the antiquity ominous fire in the naked body to burn out the silver liquid that broke into the naked body without dying. Jia, Han Weiwei, this method uses shape-shift great art, there is no limit, you can also use culture. And the place to congeal this antiquity ominous fire, we may not be able to find it after returning to heavenly profound continent. So it's best to return to heavenly profound continent after all the antiquity ominous fire is condensed here. After a little hesitation, Wei Suo looked at Jia and Han Weiwei, just this surgery shape-shift great art, I've just felt clearly, even in my shape-shift great art, at least have thought division realm the cultivation base of the layer to be able to set shape-shift great art congeal antiquity ominous fire kindling, otherwise naked body within the true yuan not enough to suppress the introduction of the naked inside the fierce fire, true yuan burned, the whole body's naked will be burned to ashes immediately. So Han Weiwei, you have to fix the cultivation base of the thought division realm first layer. The cultivation base of the thought division realm first layer, Han Weiwei suddenly bitterly, how long will I have to stay here? Wei Suo looked at Han Weiwei and handed the remaining 2 crystals to Han Weiwei. With this crystal, the time of the culture is not a problem. At your refining speed, up to 20 days, it is estimated to be enough. It is. Only now that we have used golden spotted ginseng on hand, only 3 golden crown flowers available at the hibernation gas sea can be used to break through the thought division realm. The effect may be equivalent to 2 strains of grass. And your naked body has not been completely recovered. Breaking through the thought division realm is not 100% insurance. There will be no problems. Jia looked at Wei Suo and suddenly became a little embarrassed. It seemed to be afraid of Wei Suo's blame. Low surging sound, I have left more than 20 drops of golden spotted ginseng liquid. What? As soon as I heard Jia say, Wei Suo suddenly smiled a bit, and some could not speak. After the appearance of the God's secret place white-robed young man, Wei Suo and green-robed old man verbally said that green-robed old man did not pick up any good things, but in fact I am also very clear that my own cultivation is so fast, in the final analysis, or the great treasure is half green by green-robed old man. Golden spotted ginseng fruit, spirit gathering formation, can be made by green-robed old man. At the beginning, they got a total of 7 golden spotted ginseng fruits, 2 of which were tested for medicinal properties and were taken to the Rare Treasure Pavilion. The result was definitely in the hands of Eastern Jade Paradise, and the remaining 5. Because it was found to be effective, Jia was all taken to Weisuo. Later, under the insistence of Weisuo's, Jia barely left one to use when he broke through the Thought Division realm. This golden spotted ginseng fruit, Weisuo naturally thinks that Jia has run out. However, I did not expect that Jia actually secretly left more than 20 drops. She left more than 20 drops, naturally in order to prepare for Han Weiwei, and a golden spotted ginseng fruit, placed in the unique jade bottle, is only 50 drops of ginseng, which is more than 20 drops, it is equivalent to his half. Because this golden spotted ginseng was originally given to Jia by Weisuo, now she secretly hid this half to Han Weiwei, but she was afraid of Weisuo's blame, but Weisuo at the moment, how can she be willing? There is no blame for her. The female cultivator like her is really good. Weisuo knows that she will be like Han Weiwei, and naturally she will be like this to her. For a time, Weisuo looked at Jia, and in the heart he once again had the idea of getting a wife. Senior sister Han Weiwei woke up and listened to Jia. She and Weisuo why the cultivation base broke through such a fast experience, and already know the value of golden spotted ginseng. At this moment, I heard Jia say that Han Weiwei the eye circles suddenly became red. Seeing her like this, Weisuo couldn't help but sigh a surging sound. Although the time to leave heavenly profound continent is not too short, but he also remembers clearly, Han Weiwei is sometimes very arrogant outstanding but little beauty, for her senior sister, but also will do anything.